Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. Taking me a minute or two to get stuff shared. I left my computer out in my truck and it's super cold and it's not operating very fast. Thank you guys for tuning in to Warriors Next Adventure podcast. We have some official sponsors. Um, we are sponsored by a CBD company, but as of now, I can't say the company name because they want to get some things figured out first, and they will be launching officially March 1st. So their CBD is amazing. I've been taking it for it's going on 5 weeks now, and I have some pretty bad inflammation issues, and that's the main thing I wanted to see if it actually worked, and it's been helping a lot. So I'll be releasing the name of that very soon. Um, Official sponsor for this podcast is Northern Concept Designs. It's actually a friend of mine, Jesse. His girlfriend started a company. She makes these really cool cups, and she can put any logo on these cups. But she's also making a bunch of koozies for Warriors Next Adventure because that's one thing I don't have yet. So those will be coming in soon. So check out Northern Concept Designs. I think they got a website out right now. I have to verify. They got good stuff. As always. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. I had some issues with my USB port. Okay, sorry about that. Let's try that again. As always, TKL Knives. They make some awesome knives. Tim is a Marine Corps veteran. Makes some amazing knives. He sent me one, and that thing's amazing. If you use promo code Warrior at the checkout, he donates 10% of that purchase to the nonprofit. Also, go check out Buffalo Custom Engraving. They make some really cool tumblers and shakers, and water bottles as well too. So, and they donate a portion of the proceeds to Warriors Next Adventure. So, today my guest is Freddy Flux. I hope I said your name right, Freddy. Sorry. He's from Veterans for Airsoft. He's been inviting me to events for a little while now, and I feel bad because every time he sends me an invite, I'm already doing something. I really want to go to one of his events because it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm going to bring him on now, and then we will let him kind of tell you guys about everything he's done. So, Freddy, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I say your last name right, Flux.
Yeah, that's kind of like a moniker or whatever for Facebook, but
Oh.
the real name is Lux. But in my world, call signs and nicknames,
Gotcha. So your nickname is Flux?
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that nickname?
So Fred Lux is my name, and in boot camp we got to stamp in our T-shirts and all of our stuff with first initial, last name, and last four. So when I was like, oh, what am I gonna put on a name tape and throw on my kit for Airsoft? I was like, oh, Flux. It sounds cool. All right, we'll roll with that.
Oh, there you go. So you said you were in the Navy, right?
Yeah, Navy.
When were you?
Just shy of 7 years. I was 03 to 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What'd you do in the Navy?
OAF. I was a torpedo man at first, and then they cross-rated us and merged us with the gunner's mates. So I finished as a gunner's mate second class.
What's a gunner's mate? I don't know anything about the Navy.
So if there's like any type of shipboard firing done, it's usually coming from the gunner's mate side of the house.
Oh,
cool. Fire controlmen, gunner's mates, torpedo men.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So how did you start? Tell us about Veterans for Airsoft and how you started it, what you guys do. Give us a little rundown on everything.
So we started in 2018, and I play Airsoft. And it's not Airsoft in the way that you would normally think, which is like, hey, there's a field and I rent some gear. We do military simulation events. So they're coordinated events where we throw grenades, we throw pyro, smoke, the kit, the gear that guys are wearing are so high speed and worth ridiculous amounts of money. And then the weapon systems that we use are Airsoft replicas. They're toys in essence, but they're pretty close one-to-one of what real steel companies are putting out. So I got introduced to this crazy thing by a buddy of mine, and I started playing, and I was like, I think I could do a little bit more. and start bringing other guys in. So we formed up, and we took some equipment, and we started linking up with the top milsim host in the nation, and they donate tickets, and then we provide the kit for the vet, and we set up camp, give him a home, give him a squad to play with, and then hopefully he gets the bug and goes home, and it's like, hey, airsoft in my area, and then we can link up at events because I go to so many events a year.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna share this video if you don't mind. It's your 2020 preview, the TCA promo 2020.
Oh,
is there a better one you want me to show? You want me to show that one?
No, that works. I mean,
okay, cool.
if it's off the website, yeah, these are. It just gives you an idea of what we do.
Yeah. So check this out. Give me 1 second to bring this over here. So I'm going to play this.
Let's go, G2 on me!
Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Last time I was having a hard time getting the audio to share. Damn, so you guys really go all out on some of this stuff. You guys are blasting doors?
Yeah, these I'll give some context after this. But yeah, so Third Coast Airsoft is like they're like our big brother. It's ran by a group of vets that some are still active, and they bring an objective-based game where we use squad tactics, platoon, company-size elements to play command and conquer on a BB war battlefield, pretty much.
Yeah.
They got digital objectives, so you got two sides, and commanders square off against each other. There's some battlefield nodes that we have to set up. You got to set up a TOC. You got to set up mortar systems so you can call in artillery support, and then you got JDAMs and stuff like that. So like if it gets heated, in an area, command can call up for some airstrikes, and we could wipe out a building and have. Hopefully, the idea is that we have guys staged, but airsoft's like herding cats, man. It's the worst military in the world. So like that's the give and take. Like you get the realist of the kinetic energy of playing with the equipment again and running a squad, but then at the end of the day, it's just playing with BBs. So
that sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The smile on my face says 1,000 words. So. Yeah, it's just really crazy. Like, we put, so Third Coast always has these events at a government training institute in Barnwell, South Carolina. And they bring helicopter crew out, and they put airsoft players, not in the helicopter, on the side of the skids. Like they're sitting on skids on the side of the helicopter, engaging ground targets at this event. And, so we started doing that as a special thing last year and going into this year. And then we also have an action track chair, which is a mobility device. Regardless of mobility issues, given certain guidelines, we can pretty much get anybody off the couch and out there on the field.
Oh, that's cool, man. So like, do you guys have like those awesome like commando wheelchairs for folks, like the ones that got like the tracks on it and everything? Or?
Yeah. So we awesome. We did that our second year. That was our big mission. So we raised that, and that's been out to a couple of events. It's just down in Florida. It's got a M249 Para LMG mounted to it with two very large air tanks on the back to keep them in the fight. So. We try to implement that, but we're recruiting. So, if we got any guys that, are wheelchair bound or mobility issues or, just want to get into a gunfight and play in a mobility chair, like give us a ring. So we're always looking to bring guys out.
That's awesome.
Get use out of that equipment. Yeah,
that's cool, man. And you've had a few of them over in Wisconsin that have been actually fairly close to me, but it just hasn't worked out. So, when I get back from my tour in June, man, we should try to figure out, I want to figure out your schedule and everything and see if I can actually make one of these sometime this year. It'd be really nice.
Yeah, we'll plug a good one in the fall. Set it up ahead of time.
What time of year do you normally
We play.
Going to
We play.
Wisconsin just whenever.
We play every month. We play every month. In September, my personal airsoft team, not associated with the organization, but a huge supporter of it. We do Operation Vigilance, and we bring blank fire, and I'm bringing some new pyrotechnic elements to the event. So that might be a good one. See if we can't get a Warriors Next Adventure squad out there.
Dude, that'd be awesome. There's a lot of veterans here in the Twin Cities, man. The hard thing, veterans can be so flaky, though. Like, I get it. I totally understand, because there's usually a lot of, like, anxiety involved. Like, especially, it's like, some dickhead you just met online and you're going to go hang out with him. It's a little weird,
Yeah, no, it is. And, like, I just talked about that when I addressed the group of supporters and players at this last event that I was at. It's like, the hard part is getting them up off the couch. But then that last 72 hours before committing is crucial, because that's when the anxiety sets in. And like you said, we travel across country. So sometimes guys are like jumping in a vehicle with us for 13, 14 hours.
Yeah.
And for me, it's been great, because I do it so often that I've kind of curbed a lot of those anxieties. But yeah, it's one thing that we battle, and come out with us one time and then you do it again. And then it's like, well, maybe going to the grocery store or going to the dentist to get that hot tooth fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like with me too, man. Like, believe it or not, I tell people all the time, I know I'm pretty well spoken and everything like that, but to believe it or not, I have the worst fucking anxiety before I go do something. Even going to work, doing a podcast, doing a phone call, like, I always have anxiety, but I just do it. I have to push through it, because with this nonprofit that I created, if I gave into that shit, the WNA wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't happen. So the main thing that I'm trying to teach veterans is, do not give into that fucking anxiety, because that anxiety is going to keep you in that pit, right? So actually, getting out there and doing something, and actively getting up and going to one of these events. I mean, that's the best way to heal from whatever the shit is that you're fighting off, Plus, what better way to, heal from like PTSD, stuff like that, than to actually do some exposure therapy with actually doing airsoft stuff.
That's exactly, we don't hit a whole lot on the therapy side of the house, because there's kind of a road that was paved before me with nonprofits working with veterans and PTSD. And there was a guy that was like really pushing for the therapeutic aspect. But like you said, it's exactly that, come out, we're going to give you exposure to, a lot of guys will go and they'll do real still training, 3-gun competition shooting, right? And it's like, okay, you don't have a target firing back at you. So you're not able to even get remotely deep with emotions whatsoever. And you talk to any vet that's played at this level of airsoft, I think they can say that at some level, it's definitely, brought some emotions back that you've had to deal with. And the idea is that you rewrite it with positive memories now.
Yeah.
And
so there's a form of there's a form of EMDR. So I've kind of had a theory the last few years, and when I started taking veterans climbing mountains with me, is when you share your story and you become vulnerable, what you're doing is you're opening yourself up for other people to see inside you. And until you can do that, it's going to be really hard for you to heal. So whenever I take veterans climbing on mountains with me, the whole purpose of this, and my whole nonprofit, is just to get veterans talking. Right, all the cool shit, yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I mean, playing with wolves and climbing mountains, yeah, that's awesome. But that's just the face of it. The real thing that we're trying to do is, getting veterans to share their stories while we're doing amazing things, like whether it's climbing a mountain, working in the car, at the racetrack. Because when you're actually sharing these stories, what you're doing is, like you just said, is I had a theory that, like, it's like a VHS tape, right? So you can record a movie on a VHS tape. You can re-record over that, but you're always going to have little bits and pieces of that old one that's still going to be there, right? So what you're doing is you're pairing a new event with an old trauma. So now that trauma has a lot less power, because you have pretty much you've taped that new experience to that trauma. Correct. And it just makes it so much easier to deal with things, right? And I've had a lot of veterans, reach out to me after the fact, after we climb a mountain, or have done something together, and we've really hit on some traumas, because I love to hit on traumas, because that's the quickest way to healing, getting through shit is actually talking about it.
Right. Yeah. When we come off the field and we're sitting in camp, we try to offer that. Rangers call it Ranger TV, where we try and at least incorporate a campfire and let guys, converse, and they come back more and more. And some guys are quiet, some guys aren't. And at the end of the day, there's always a message that comes back like, "Hey man, thanks a lot." And it's like,
yeah,
dude, cool. Like now don't put that to bed. Like do something with it,
exactly.
Whether it's continuing to exercise or telling your buddy, "Hey man, I just had this ridiculous thing." It's like, yeah, tell your friends.
Yeah, get involved in it. Find some sort of positive outlet. That's the most important thing that veterans can do is find a positive outlet.
Yeah.
Because you think about like when you're in the service, you're constantly doing something, right? Whether it's PT, you're doing training, you're doing this, you're doing that. You rarely have downtime, right? And then when you do have downtime, you're hanging out with the boys. I mean, that's what everybody did. We were going to the bar or we go fishing. We were always doing something together. And there's this weird misconception that like you're not allowed to go hang out with the boys anymore. Like even married veterans have the hardest time with this.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna try and attack that. So last year we did a couple like local stuff where we were like, hey, family friendly, like bring your wife, bring your kids, because and I hate to use the term ball and chain because my wife is definitely not a ball and chain. She's actually like the horse to my carriage. She drives me, So like having that family be able to interact with the organization and lighten up the restraints of like letting your husband or boyfriend or whatever off the leash, so to speak, just a little bit. Or it's the other way around where you find guys that are using the families as a crutch to not go anywhere. And you're like, those conversations I don't get into. That's on you. If you're not willing to come out, then we should probably get you linked up with something that, has more therapeutic value than playing airsoft. Maybe you're not the guy that should come out and shoot kids in the face with plastic pellets.
I don't know. I don't see many things that sound more fun than shooting kids with plastic pellets. It sounds very fun.
You gotta be careful who you tell people that to, because we'll be sitting in restaurants on the way back from events and we'll be telling our stories, and it's like, yeah, dude, I pulled the pin on the grenade and I held it and I let it cook off, and then I just threw that sucker and I got them all. And like group of old ladies next to you just like looking at you like, oh my god, is this a rebellion?
Well, it's a good outlet, man. I mean, it's people talk so much shit about all these nerds that play airsoft or these nerds that play paintball. Me and my girlfriend for Valentine's Day last year, which also shows that she's awesome. She's like, let's go play paintball for Valentine's Day. I'm like, that sounds fucking wonderful. And we got destroyed by a bunch of fucking 16-year-olds. They just kicked our fucking ass, man. I couldn't do anything. I was like, Jesus. I was like, man, I feel like such a bitch right now.
Dude, but like that leads to conversations, because you like come back to the table and to staging or to wherever camp is, and you're just like, dude, I just got wrecked by like some little kids, and you're like, well, dude, we got to start stacking up, like let's pull some squad tactics, and then you like the Marine Corps guy's talking his language, the Army guy's talking his language, and I'm sitting over here like, shotguns are useless in airsoft.
That's great. I haven't played airsoft in a long time, man. My buddy Dustin had a couple airsoft guns when we were younger, and we used to like go through his house, and like we weren't allowed to use shit in the house, but we'd like still like attack each other with paintballs and shit. So we had paintball guns, and we would just like pew pew. We're stupid little kids, but whenever we would go out and play like paintball and shit, I always sucked, man. Always. I've never been good at paintball. I've never been good at airsoft. I've always gotten just destroyed. It's even worse than these little kids, man. It's just like jiu-jitsu. It kills your ego. It's like, and some fucking little 16-year-old comes over and just murks you. It's like, wow, I really suck.
Dude, and like with the events and stuff that we play, the funny thing is like it's not like you get shot and then you just go back to respawn or whatever. Like you have to bleed. You have to bleed out. Like now you have to sit there for 5 minutes to think about your bad choices. Sal, the guy who's one of the owners of that Third Coast Airsoft, he says it's consequence-free decision making, and he's an active duty guy, and he uses airsoft events and milsim events to, run squad tactics. Like, oh well, can you attack here? Is there a soft spot? And then we pick up on it. The veteran community that plays, the guys that we bring out, we pick up on it, and then they come back and they're just charged. They're like, dude, like that was awesome, and you're just like, yeah, you're nerd now. We're all nerds.
Well, we did a lot of the sim round stuff when we were in the military. So I was Air Force Security Forces. So what we did was like base defense overseas, and I got lucky and I got to do convoys pretty much every deployment, except for my first deployment was to Qatar. So I mean, that was more like a vacation. That was kind of nice. The problem with Qatar though, man, is like it was a lot rougher than people think. Like they ran out of mint ice cream like once a week, man. It was terrible. So I got PTSD from that. Every time I see mint ice cream, I just get sad. But no, it was that was a joke, by the way. I'm just retarded.
I'm just thinking about the mint ice cream. I'm like totally not a fan. Just like, oh.
No, so it was nice. They had like a Chili's by the poolside and everything. It was rather nice. But then my other deployments were all like we did convoys in Iraq down in Buka, and then we did convoys over in Afghanistan in outside of Kabul, outside. I just had a brain fart. What is the base in Kabul? Starts with an A.
I'm not your guy.
Spent 6 fucking months there. How did I forget that? Anyway, I feel like a dumbass right now. So, guys, the Reaper guys, if you guys are listening, what the fuck is the name of the base we were stationed at? This way you don't get punched in the head, kids. So anyway, we did a lot of the sim round stuff down in, I think it was down in Eglin Air Force Base. We did this thing called Brave Defender or whatever. They had like a giant mock city set up with like concrete buildings and shit. We can go inside. We actually used all the airsoft stuff. And I actually had a 240 with belted sim rounds, which was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. So I just got to murk everybody. I just picked one spot that shot right down the middle of the village. And so every time somebody ran across, I just pepper them. It was great.
Mowed them down.
So it was fun. Those things hurt, though, man.
Oh, like, sim rounds. Yeah.
They're awful. Like, we wear those giant alien masks. So, like, at least our face are protected. But, dude, you hitting the knuckles? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, dude, we had an opportunity to play. I was stationed in Guam, and they had a housing complex that was tore down, and they let us go out there and play OP4 against an unknown unit. And wow, did we get? Yeah, we were not a good bad guys. We died really fast. Well, maybe we were good bad guys. Either way, it hurt. Yeah, I was like, yo, like so then like a couple of us decided to go to the paintball place to try and get good. No. And that hurt too. And I was like, oh. And then I tried airsoft, and I was like, oh, this is cool. The adrenaline's there.
Yeah.
Nobody's running around with these quirky big tanks. Well, they are, but they're kind of hidden.
So how did you get into airsoft? Did you do it before the military, or is that like something you got into while in?
Well, I mean, we all played with like I played with paintball gun. I mean, like I have like my original paintball gun, but it was just like running around the woods like everybody else, I remember I came back from Guam, and my mom took me, my girlfriend, and 2 of my friends to Wisconsin Dells, and we got these Springer pistols, and so we're like running around the complex, like shooting each other with these Springer pistols. And I got out of the service, and my cousins were friends with this guy Bobby, and I knew him as just like the jacked up Marine, like he was he was the fucked up Marine guy. Like I seen him in a bar one time when I came back, and he had just got back from Iraq. His second tour, and he was just sitting by himself, and like I was just like, fuck, dude, like shit's real. I was stationed over in Guam, so like our world was way different than what the guys in the box were seeing. And so
do you know this guy Jensen?
No, I don't, but
yeah, dude, airsoft.
Yeah, dude, we wonder how airsoft is in Guam, because like it's such a secluded place, but paintball wasn't taken off at all. I mean,
but airsoft was.
No, dude, I don't know. Airsoft didn't exist to me. Like I didn't know. Bobby said, "Hey, dude," sings me a card on the golf course like a few years after I had first met him, and I was like, "Dude, what is this?" And like I just put the card in my pocket, and I was having a really hard time. And I climbed into my sock drawer, and I ended up just like grabbing his card, and it's kind of like I took it as a sign. So I emailed him, and he immediately responded. I was like, "What is this guy like spying on? Like just sitting there on his email?" And he responds with this video of this night vision fight with tracer rounds, and I'm thinking that it's like real tracer rounds. Like what kind of idiot sits there and loads all tracer rounds? And he's like, "No, it's airsoft." And I was like, "All right, dude, I'll go."
Were they like glow
So it took
in the
me
dark
out.
or what?
Yeah, they glow in the darks, and when you're watching nods, they look like lasers. So
Oh,
like
fuck
it's, dude, it's really wicked. So he says, "I'll take you out." So I was like, "All right, dude, I'll go." And I went, and I got my face kicked in, like peppered with BBs, and I was hooked after that. He took me to an event. We got into a huge fight in the woods, and where we were down to our last mag, and I looked at him and he looked at me, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll go anywhere with you with airsoft." And like now he runs Patriotic Frog, shameless plug for him. He makes all our flags that we raffle at events. We sell dollar raffle tickets to raise a lot of our funds, and yeah, he's a pivotal role. We started a team, and we went our separate ways, and now I run VFA, and he makes the flags for us. And
nice.
Yeah.
So how much does it cost you guys for an event? Do you guys get charged per person, or like how are you guys getting your funding, or how does all that work?
So when we started it, we wanted it to be 100% volunteer based, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about anybody making any money. It was about how do we offset the cost for a veteran to play airsoft. And we're like, okay, well, we have $500. Let's buy 2 rifles, some cheap kits, and then some people started donating stuff to us. And then I had already been playing and going to these events, and so the event hosts were like, "Hey, man, we got your back." And that first year, we had almost everybody in the community say, "You come to our events, we'll sponsor the vets that come." And so,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so tickets can range anywhere from $50 upwards to $220. And if you're going all inclusive, which is what we're doing now, where they get a helicopter ride, they get the event ticket. I mean, it's a lot. It would be a lot for somebody, and so it's a big treat for these guys to help us in that way to sponsor them.
Randy says you guys nice rifle at or raffle item for you.
Nice. Yeah, Randy's the guy that I'm working with for this event out there at Cape Fear. They're going to sponsor 25 guys to come out, get gear, camping space. So it's a big project for us to be able to offer it on that level. But yeah, dude, it's been great. So all of our funding comes from just a fundraising booth at these events. You got 250, 500 players sometimes. We sell dollar raffle tickets. It originally was just recouping the cost. So we took $600 and just kind of folded it over a couple times. And then patches, man. We sold $10 patches. We sold like 650 patches.
Gear, like Velcro gear patches?
Yeah, so that's the money maker for airsoft. Everybody's a patch whore. And so you take a $3 patch and we sell it for $10. And actually I think when we started 15 because we were like, hey man, we need to raise money. But patches, yeah. And so now we branched it off to like hats. We got a whole bunch of swag. Veterans Q sponsors us, so like we just do raffles. And
do you guys have coins yet?
Oh yeah,
bro, coins have been the best thing that I've done. It's the good thing is we have. I think I ordered 1,000 coins to begin with, and dude, I'm down to like 250 maybe. Like I hand out a lot of coins. So like whenever a veteran comes to something with us or like climbs a mountain, so every veteran who climbs a mountain with us gets a coin, and I'll hand them out to vets that I think need it. That needs something, right? Because on the back, the Vig sphere is on the back, and that's a Nordic compass meant to guide you on your way if you don't know where you're going. So I mean, it's got meaning to it, right? And then the whole brotherhood, the brotherhood mindset of the coins, right? So, dude, there's a place that I got them from. They're like, I think $2.50 a coin or $2.20 a coin, and I sell them for $10. I mean, people understand that it's a way to raise funds, right?
Yeah.
But it's also a brotherhood thing, right? So it's nice to hand those out too.
Yeah, we we were curious on how coins would do in the community, but we decided that this year we'll be launching our first coin, but we're doing just 100 of each run. So each year we're only going to do 100, and we're going to take that money and throw it directly related to a specific mission.
Yeah, the coins are so expensive to get made because you got to order so many.
Yeah, you said 250. I was like, wow. Like, yeah, we
I ordered 1,000. So it's I went through. I got those. When did I get my coins? I think I got them like January of last year. So I went through 750 coins in a year. So like they go. But I more so want them to hand them out. So like you sell half of them and you make your money back, and then I can hand out half. So it works out really nice.
Yeah.
Let me know when you get those coins, man. I'll buy one from you.
Yeah, 100%. This should be month or two. We'll see. You're working on the artwork.
There's so many veterans who will buy coins. It's constantly. And especially if it's for a good cause, right? Because it's not about the money, but we need money to fund these things, right?
Yeah,
100%.
And
what better way to do it than like patches with your community and then coins? It's just it's a good way for vets.
We wanted a higher end item that was going to say, hey, like maybe you don't play airsoft, because we do fine in the airsoft community itself, but as far as like everything else, I think we're just now getting out there to be like, wait, what do you do for vets? Like, yeah, we take them out to play mock BB wars. We put them on helicopters. They do JDAM missions. They get an entire. We just upgraded all our kits, so they've got everything minus night vision now. Which maybe that's something we can provide later on down the road, but I don't want to be strapping $4,000 worth of gear to if they lose a flashlight or a radio, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Gear can get expensive, man. Like I've been looking at because the majority of what we do is the Wolf Dogs and then the race team. Luckily our race car is like we do the Hornet division, so it's a Saturn. So when I say race car, I mean like it's a piece of shit little Saturn.
No, dude, it's got a spoiler and freaking number on it. You're good to go, dude.
Oh yeah, I gotta get a NOS sticker on there to add like 10 HP points. But no, it's like we do it as cheap as we can because it's super cost efficient, because it only costs $30 to race, and I can win like $250 a race, and then I donate because they have to give that money to me because I'm the registered driver,
right? And
then I just donate that money directly back into the nonprofit, so I can go there, spend $30 for myself. It's $60 for the pit pass, and I take 2 veterans to every race, and then I can make all that money back, right? So as long as you're not just bleeding money, it's you got to be conservative with what you're doing. Like you can't go buying fucking Hueys and stuff.
No,
like
not at all.
Best.
We're like super cost efficient. We're like whenever we look at something, we're like, okay. So let's think about this. It's going to cost XYZ, and how much are we going to, what opportunity do we have, and what impact? Because impact is the biggest. If there's going to be a big impact, we don't care what the cost is. But yeah, when it comes to swag, dude, t-shirts, man, I'm struggling with t-shirts, but yeah.
Are you struggling to sell them or design them or?
It's the inventory aspect of it, right?
Dude, it sucks.
Like you got to have at least 3K. Now I'm looking at it. You got to have 3K into t-shirts, and it's like, we're small fry, man. Like $3,000 is putting a lot of dudes on helicopters. Like, I don't care. We don't care about t-shirts.
Exactly. Like I spent a couple K on rash guards from Fuji. So Fuji rash guards are premier. They're amazing, and they did a fantastic job. But rash guards sell for like $50 to $60, some like $100, and I was like, that's expensive. I want people to I want it to be, I want to make sure we're making our money back, but at the same time, I don't want to break somebody's bank. Right. Because essentially it's for donations. We need that money for the cause, right? So you're paying $20 or $25 for a rash guard, and then you're technically donating $25, right? So it's like it's $50 for rash guard, but in my mind, it's for the cause, right? And so
it has to be like the guy that's looking at your swag saying, hey, that's not a good deal. It's like, we're nonprofit, man. Like either you want to donate to the mission or not. Like I'm running a beer fundraiser myself right now. Like,
nice.
I told some people that they were like, well, you won't shave it. And I was like, oh, I'll shave it off, but for charity. And then I've been growing my hair out, inspired by you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
and Bradley Cooper from A Star Is Born. But that's for another
hair
time.
Did look luxurious in that film.
He was a fall down drunk, but yeah, she's hot. No, I said, oh, we got to raise this. We need a vehicle. We've been putting, all the wear and tear on personal vehicles inside of staff. And we're like, dude, now's the time. And what the funny thing is, like trailer, we got to have insurance. So we got to have a vehicle in order to have the insurance and XYZ. And it's just like the back workings of running an organization at the level that I think that you and me are at are just, it's a daily grind. It keeps me coming back for more, and the mission's amazing. So
Ryan Kane says, thanks for bringing Veteran for Airsoft to the Southwest.
Yeah. We got lucky. We got a guy who played Airsoft in Wisconsin and was hanging out with us and came into the organization, and he moved to Arizona, and he's like, hey man, like, what's up? And I was like, what's up? And we ran it, and now it's like blowing up out there. So
nice.
It's awesome to see some growth,
Well, it's nice to be a part of something, right? But I've never created something before. I've tried with being an MMA fighter, because I mean, you technically you are your brand. You have to brand yourself, right? And so that was really my first look into marketing, and I did it all myself just because I wanted to learn. So the good thing is that has directly helped me out with this nonprofit, is because I knew how to do social media marketing before I started this nonprofit, so it worked out great. But the best part about like all nonprofit stuff is like, it's not the feeling that you're like a savior. I don't feel like that at all. That's not the fucking fact. But the fact is, we're a facilitator. What we do is we facilitate these awesome fucking events, and veterans get to come to it, and they get to have a good time. They have a lot of fun, and at the end of the day, like you said, the thank you at the end of the day, there's no better payment that I've ever had in my life than having another veteran who is either struggling or just is that whole, disgruntled veteran mindset. I hate that mindset, man. I'm doing my best to try to change that shit. But when you get one of those guys to actually come out and say, hey man, like you really made me think, that's what I fucking love. So being in the nonprofit world, it brings so much happiness to me, and I get to steal a little bit of their happiness every time they get to do one of the events, right? So have you had a lot of guys reach out to you after your events, telling you what they thought about it? Like, what's the general oversight of the vets that come onto your stuff?
I would say 90% always have contact afterwards. I think I can count on one hand how many times we've had vets leave an event either because he was not having fun or XYZ. So there's been two guys. And I think the first guy he just saw it and was like, these guys are just running around with guns, pointing them at each other, and there's no safety. And like, he got triggered. And respectfully so, he called me down the street, said, hey man, thanks a lot. I'll see you around. Yeah. Roger that. Cool. It's awesome. But
that's almost expected with what you're doing.
100%. And it's a good learning experience too, because it's like, okay, well, what did I do beforehand that could have set him up for a better experience? And so it just makes us better. Like you said, facilitators. So at the end of the day, the companies that we line up with give us discount codes to give these guys. And so since we've already set up these amazing kits for them, they kind of understand like what they need in general consensus if they wanted to invest. If they're not ready to invest, they can come back out with us again 2 more times. We just ask them to pay it forward and buy their ticket, because when they buy their ticket, that allows us to bring another vet, to these events. So I would say 60% of the guys that we've taken out have played again. And of that 60%, I would say, I don't know, maybe half of them actually purchase their own gear, and we see on a regular basis. The guys I'm traveling with this weekend are all guys that I've seen who are now bringing their battle buddies out. So now I'm using them to facilitate what they got from me. And now I don't have I don't have to do that. I can perfect what it is we are giving them as experience. And now these guys get to kind of step into that leadership role. And that's the other aspect that we do offer, is when you come on board with Veterans for Airsoft and you go to these events, if you want an opportunity to lead guys on a front line again, we can give that to you.
See, that's the one thing from the whole nonprofit world that I've noticed that really helps is when you actually not just doing things for veterans, but getting veterans involved in helping veterans.
Yeah.
It's the community outreach program that I started is probably the best thing that we've done so far. Like just fixing up cars for people and, donating. We got a car donated. We donated it to a veteran after we fixed it up. And I got like 7 veterans to work on that car. And when we presented that car, it's like, dude, you did this. You helped us do this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure they get a lot of the same satisfaction when they actually get to come back and lead and be in a leadership role with your organization too. That's awesome.
I always tell these guys like, hey, that whole dropping you in the deep end, hope you can swim. Like I'm Navy, and I just smile and I walk away. And it's totally true because like you've already went through boot camp. We don't need to rehash that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If you're a fucking idiot, we're gonna find out, and it'll make for great laughs all weekend long. It's always funny. You point the one guy out that makes the mistake, and the guys just start cracking. They start telling jokes about stupid things. All the guys that we had out at 2 events ago, they all went to high school together.
Nice.
And 2 of them had combat tours together. And so it was really interesting to see these guys come together. And, they get thrown in these tier 1 missions where they get special operations, and they were all, civilian clothes and stashing pistols, and they got to go into this prison and rescue this guy. And they're sitting there getting ready. And they'd already gone through briefing, and they come from camp, and I was cleaning up camp, and they come in, and it's really great to see the interaction. We're like kids again, all the adultness is kind of just stripped away, and nobody's thinking about the negative side of things. We're just kind of being ourselves.
That's what we get in the mountain climbs. We just we have some great, sincere, serious, deep conversations because I'm that fucking guy that is gonna make you talk about shit. Because that's the stuff that I'm extremely interested in. But at the same time, the last time I have an ambassador over in New York. His name is Chad. Me and him deployed 4 times together. So me and him are pretty close. Him and Tommy are my first ambassadors until this last year. I needed somebody to lead a hike for me. I'm like, dude, I can't make it to New York again this year. He's like, well, I'll do it. And I was like, well, there you go. That's your new position. You're going to take care of, north, the Western New York. Yeah. And so he led a hike for me. And at the end, we always do like a debriefing. And so even though I wasn't there, I still, talked to them at the bar after they were all done because they all decided to go get some drinks together. And the first thing everybody said, like when I came on, everyone's like, hey, Ron, the new saying for Warriors Next Adventure is fuck you, Chad. It's because Chad's the one that made everybody go climb that mountain. And it's a 17-mile hike, dude. And so it always turns into just massive shit talking too, which is always fun,
You guys crush that in one day, or do you do it in a 2-day trip?
It's a 1-day trip, so it's 17 miles. The majority of it is pretty flat, but you'll get a bunch of switchbacks, dude, that just beat your ass. And it's if you start at 5 a.m., you can get it done in like 8 hours. So you just have to keep moving.
Yeah, it's like those. I mean, it's equivalent to the ruck marches that they're doing, right? Yeah. Except for you're going uphill a mountain.
Yeah, dude,
and I'm sure there's some teamwork building involved in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of encouragement. Like same with you. I mean, you have to be there for your boys. You can't just leave somebody behind. It doesn't work like that.
You know what's great is we get to interact with the civilian population. And a lot of the civilians that play these military games are trying to be like who we used to be, but never really who we were because nobody's got needle guns, paintbrushes, and a massive amount of black garbage bags, all right?
Yeah.
But, we're climbing this mountain on Sunday, this past weekend, and I was gassed, man, and the guys behind me were gassed, and we were sucking wind, and I look up, and this young kid goes, yeah, morale boost, buddy boost. And he just grabs my hand and pulls me up. And I'm just like, holy shit, like this civilian guy gets it, and then you're just like, cool, man. I like that too, because I think a lot of times that word veteran can kind of get burnout with some people,
Yeah.
especially in our own community. And I think guys just need to remind themselves, like, we're all civilians at the end of the day, and regardless of our service or where our country took us, the pride for the flag and respecting the fallen and taking care of each other, you know, because a lot of that trauma and emotion hasn't died. It still lives on with you, with me, with you know, everybody that served during the wars and are currently serving. So
Absolutely.
it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to break down those windows and be like, oh, we're all civilians. Like, I have civilian, I have guys that didn't serve that are in our staff, and guys will argue, no, he's military, and I'm like, nah, dude, he's a strap hanger. like, you know, you would have thought it, but that's why I hang out with him. He's like-minded like me, and then he reminds me, like, hey, Freddy, don't take yourself so damn serious, man.
Well, it's, you know, I'm glad that you are incorporating civilians in your nonprofit too, because the whole like veterans are the only people that I can hang out with bullshit that needs to stop, you know. And so that's why there's nothing wrong with that. If you select a few good friends and they all just happen to be veterans and that's your group of people, fucking good on you. If that makes you happy. But what I get in a lot of arguments with veterans when it comes to this subject, because I will always tell them, like, look, you're no better than that person just because you joined the military. That's just the choice that you made with your life. You know, for all you know, this person has lived a horrible, shitty life, and they've become successful because they busted their ass to get out of where they're at. You don't know their story. You can't just assume they're a fucking piece of shit just because they didn't serve in the military. You're no better than anybody. Yeah, we got more training. Sure. But at the same time, I know a lot of guys in the military that would get their ass whooped by 16-year-old kids who train jiu-jitsu. So,
or the kid who decided to go work in the trades, being a roofer. He's been slaving on a roof for 16 years and will toss your ass like there's no tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I like what Randy said. Randy Martinez said that's right. We serve for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I don't like the mindset, the disgruntled veteran mindset. You know, the DV days were fun. They're hilarious. I mean, it was good jokes and stuff like that. But it just rubbed me the wrong way, man, because it's like, you know, why do you want to be painted off as being an asshole? Like, where's the pride in that, right? Why wouldn't you want to be the best person that you could possibly be? Yeah. You know, and then when we mix civilians in, like, I always allow civilians to come with. Like, we try to get, like, first responders and, you know, you guys come along with, you know, civilians can come with us anytime we do something. They just have to pay their own way.
See that, and they are happy to, man. They're happy to pay double their way, cover their costs, and it's like, that's valuable, dude. That's valuable because it brings the overhead cost down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get that interaction too, because that interaction is so important. You know, like what you were saying a minute ago, when it came to, you know, your buddy that you bring with, and you guys work together, and everyone's like, oh, he's a veteran. You're like, no, he's not. He's just a fucking like-minded individual. That's perfect.
Just like the rest of us.
Yeah, we had a guy named Elijah come with us on our last mountain climb over in Colorado. We climbed Mount Elbert last year, and hell of a climb, dude. It was so fun. It took us like 9 hours though. I was struggling. I was having some heart issues at the time. Luckily, I got them all figured out. But Elijah was a civilian and friends with my buddy Tommy, and he drove out with them. And Elijah was just like one of the boys. You know, he made it. He was kicking the shit out of half the veterans. Like, he was making it up the mountain faster than these guys. And it's like, you know, go ahead, keep talking shit, man. This fucking civilian who smokes more weed than anybody I've ever met in my life, you know, in fucking Colorado, man. I was like, he just whooped all of our asses up this mountain. He beat me up that mountain too. I was just like, dude, you don't have to be a veteran to be one of us, right? As long as like-minded individuals, that's the kind of people you got to look for.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know, having guys like that, like we got this kid Jonah. He's a farm boy. He puts in farm fencing, and he's a pistol challenge shooter and stuff. And he's been hanging around a bunch, and he's a hell of fun to play with because the kid's just strong as an ox. He's good with his weapons handling. He's good with communication. He does what you ask him to do. And he come down to Florida with us, and I was like, all right, guys, why don't you go ahead and just hang out and camp and make yourself comfortable. And I'll come back for gear issue. And I come back, and these vets all were surrounding Jonah, and this kid's just sitting there, just vomiting airsoft knowledge onto them with his guns and is taking it apart, and they're just like, well, what about this? And like it was like a real training exercise.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't help but see the value in that. You're just
Well,
like, yeah, man,
you gotta get
it's
rid of
okay.
the ego.
Dude, and we're full of it, man. Like that's the whole Freddy Flux thing is a shtick, man. It's all,
Yeah.
I run a nonprofit, and people paint you or they see you in a different light, and good, dude, see me in a great light, throw money at me so I can help these guys out. But realize at the end of the day, like it's just I go home to my family and lay my head on a pillow just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's
the
it's really
neighbors.
strange. Whenever I start talking about some of the issues that I have, because my nonprofit is literally built off of vulnerability and being honest and talking. The couple times where I shared my anxiety, even like when we go to the Wolf Dogs, the night before, I can't sleep. I wake up in the morning and I don't want to go. I usually take about 5 or 6 veterans up to go play with these wolves, and it's not that I'm nervous or scared. It's just like, like what if I'm not good enough? I constantly have that fucking feeling, man. It sucks.
Right.
You're leading a nonprofit trying to help veterans become the best versions of themselves, and that's my goal. But at the same time, I'm having a lot of the anxiety and stress that they are. The only difference is I don't listen to it. That's the
Yeah.
thing, man. And anybody can do what we're doing. Anybody. You just gotta stop listening to that guy inside telling you to just go home and lay down.
Dude, just stay on the couch, bro.
I
Like
know,
just
right?
just blame COVID. Like COVID's the new, blame the wife,
Yeah.
blame the kids. Yeah, my wife, she's always like, I turn it into an actual training exercise for myself. And I don't know if I've actually ever shared this with anybody, but whenever we were told we were getting underway and we're moving the ship, there was always a 3-day workup period for me. Like I get the shop ready, and I go home and I get my stuff ready, and then I bring it to the ship, and then we get ready together. And like I make airsoft the same way. So 3 days leading into an event, I totally switch my mindset, and it's nice because each event that I've gone to, it kind of is starting to get pointless. Where before I needed that type of structure, and yeah, dude, like the problems that you think you had yesterday really don't matter tomorrow. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Every time you go work with those dogs, or you go up a hill, or the wolves, or you go up a hill, or you drive that car, your problems are a little bit less. And I think hopefully we wake up one day and nobody's got any problems.
Well, do you know who Zach McGuffrey is from 22 Till Valhalla?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, we always put his stuff on our raffle table.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Zach's cool as shit, man. So I'm going to hang out with him for 2 days at the end of my documentary tour because he's got a jiu-jitsu gym too.
Nice.
And then he just opened up a community center for veterans, which we've been talking for a while now, and I'm trying to do that here in Minnesota too. I'm trying to do a veterans retreat, which is also something I wanted to talk to you about. But anyway, so Zach actually said something one day, is we're in the business to go out of business. We want people to not need us. That's my goal. I don't want anybody to ever need to call me. Right. So I know there's kind of a stigma attached to me because I do the whole suicide PTSD or suicide prevention PTSD stuff, but it would be the happiest day of my life where somebody doesn't need to call me because they're feeling suicidal. If I don't need to ever fucking use that thing again, I'd be happy as shit because that means that people aren't having problems anymore.
Right.
So one thing I wanted to talk to you about, are there any kind of restrictions that you know of or any kind of permits that you need to kind of play airsoft in a patch of woods? Because I was talking to a group of guys, and I'm trying to start the veterans retreat here in Minnesota. So veterans will be able to come Monday through Saturday for free. They would just have to pay to get here, get to Minneapolis, and then I would drive them to the retreat. So the goal is it's a 5-day mental health retreat, but we'd also be doing activities the whole time.
Right.
So we're gonna have a wood shop, auto shop, weightlifting gym, jiu-jitsu mats. We're gonna have a podcast studio, so I could teach people how to do this, how to podcast, what programs to use, what equipment you need, good microphones, because I have really good audio because I spent the fucking money on it. I wanted to make sure I had good audio. I hate podcasts that are scratchy and it drives me nuts. So I made sure to spend the money on it. But I also want to eventually get to the point where I can help people start their own podcast as well by getting them equipment. On top of that, we're going to have a vegetable garden. I'm going to teach veterans how to garden, how to plant gardens, how to grow them, how to take care of them properly. We're also going to have animals, and then we're also going to have a meditation garden. But I'm planning on having a patch of woods too. I'm like, man, we should do paintball, and everyone's like, no, don't do paintball because that's just too much cleanup. They're like, what
Yeah,
about
that
airsoft?
cleanup is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So they were like, what about airsoft? I'm like, man, I got to talk to Freddy about that. So maybe we can set something up there too.
Yeah,
And
if it's private land, dude, you don't,
well, we will own it. I'm working on. I got some things I'm working on in my personal life, and I'm starting up another business, and I'm hoping that business will essentially fund Warriors Next Adventure. It's going to be my only job eventually, but I want to use that money from the business and donate the majority of the funds of that business to Warriors Next Adventure. So I'll have paid employees and everything like that. I'll still be taking a paycheck and everything like that. But the majority of the proceeds from that company, I can donate to Warriors Next Adventure and fully fund that. I can fund that retreat by that business. So if it works out, I'll actually be able to own my own land. I want like 80 acres if I can get it.
You can do whatever you want then.
Exactly.
And it just comes down to insurance. And if you're already running a camp style retreat, your certificate of insurance would probably cover that aspect of it too.
I wonder if Airsoft would fuck with things though, because I'm trying to stay away from guns for the most part with my nonprofit. I mean, we've done stuff with guns. We did a shooting competition with Houses for Warriors over in Colorado. I did a commentation for that thing. That was actually a lot of fun. Me and this other guy, Jaron, we commentated the shooting competition and ran it like a actual, like we were golf announcers. It was
nice.
It was weird, dude. But me and him were just both smart asses, so it actually went pretty well. But the shooting competition was awesome. I just personally, with this nonprofit, we haven't done anything with guns yet. I'm not anti-gun at all. I love guns. I got plenty.
It's an interesting topic. We've kind of stayed down on the DL because we promote airsoft, and airsoft is realistic weapons, and we run around and shoot each other and whatever. But I think there's this aspect that we could be teaching, further gun safety, stuff like that. So
absolutely.
There's room for growth, and there's a hell of a lot of money in grant money for firearm safety for vets, which contributes to like conceal and carry training. There's organizations that do that type of stuff too. But yeah, dude, I mean, as far as like just jumping into the woods as like as an activity, man, that's easy day.
So okay. Well, maybe when we get to that point, then we can do some collaboration. We can hang up like a Veterans for Airsoft banner up there or something like that, and have you guys come out and teach some classes here and there. Or,
dude, that'd be cool.
Maybe even you guys could use our facility for an event, and we wouldn't even charge you guys. Just get a bunch of people up there. You guys could use it as a fundraiser too.
Dude, the idea of a camp is just really, that's cool. It's not just about airsoft, it's about everything else. That's
exactly
what would be cool with that.
If I can get this thing done, essentially what I want to do is there's a group of people I want to come with on the first like 1 or 2 retreats, mainly to help me, narrow it down, to make sure we're doing the right thing, right? Because I want this thing to be extremely helpful. Like, have you ever heard of what are they called? Mighty Oaks down in Texas, I believe. They're on Instagram. Check out Mighty Oaks when we're done with this. But they're a retreat, but they're religious based, and there's a lot of veterans that aren't religious. I'm one of them. I'm not against it or anything like that, but I'm more of a self responsibility, kind of a Buddhist mindset or approach. I wouldn't call myself a Buddhist, but I've been practicing it for years, and a lot of what I talk about comes from Buddhist teachings when it comes to self responsibility, acceptance, forgiveness, stuff like that, right? And accepting your past and everything, and moving on and creating a better future, and using manifestation. And you ever heard of epigenetics?
No.
So epigenetics is like essentially the science behind Buddhism, whereas, your environment is going to control how you feel. Like if you're surrounded by negative people, chances are you're going to be a negative person. If you're surrounded by positive people, eventually, they're going to rub off on you. So a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with mindset, and a lot of mindset or with environment. A lot of your environment is right here. So your mind is 100% going to change any situation. You can be around a group of people that are happy, having fun, but for some reason your mindset is putting you in a negative mood, and every single person there is just going to piss you off. But if you had a better mindset, you would actually realize that, hey, these guys are actually talking about some stuff that could really help me. Or, maybe I can relate to these guys and I'm not going to feel so left out. So that's essentially that's what the retreat will be based around, is accepting your past, finding out what are some of the worst traumas that you've experienced and why do they still have power over you, and then actually going over looking at these things. But on top of that, we're going to be doing activities the whole time. And I want it to be right down the road from the wolf dogs. So we're actually going to incorporate the wolf dogs into one of the days there as well. Plus, Eagle Mountain is like a 3-hour drive north. So we can always incorporate mountain climbing as well, because that's the highest point in Minnesota. And it's like 7-mile hike. It takes like 3 hours or something like that. So if somebody wants
That's
to
a nice half-day activity.
Yeah, it's real nice, because then you can just drive up there. There's a pizza joint right at the bottom of the hill too that we go to all the time. So pizza's good. So the main focus is going to be, realizing that you have all of the power to heal. You have to find out what the right tool is. So maybe that'd be something that you can come out to as well.
Dude, 100%, man. I'm cheering for you on that. We need more veteran retreats that are doing that kind of work.
Well, Zach from 22 Until Valhalla is one of the guys I want to come up too. So, like, maybe if I can get like as many, nonprofit leaders to come up to see if that would be something that would be useful, for any of the guys that they're working with, because I'm all about collaboration too. So like I said, anytime you have an event and you got slots open and you need veterans, just send it to me, dude. I'll share it on Warriors Next Adventure. I got no problem.
Roger. Yeah, good.
So, and then I don't know if you're part of the veterans and first responders PTSD support group.
Yep, I'm in there.
Share it all in there too, man. I created that group, man, because there's so many like PTSD support groups where if you share a link, they'll ban you. It's like, what the fuck? Like, we're sharing stuff that's gonna help.
Yeah.
You're gonna kick us out for it? What the hell?
Dude, we had this event last weekend and we had, 10 to 15 slots open, and I shared in Alabama veterans group, and because of COVID, it not being related directly to veterans, the event itself, they never posted it. I'm just like, you guys have 70,000 people in that group. 70,000. If I help 0.01, that's like, come on, guys. Like, you may not agree.
Like, no advertising. It's like, we're presenting events. We're not asking for money. We're telling veterans, hey, come hang out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The whole thing's free. So why are we not promoting services? And that's the thing too, is, separating ourselves from being, well, for us, instead of it just being novelty, like, we're a veteran service organization. I consistently use that term because it's not just Airsoft. Like, we have access to hundreds of thousands of outlets that we could be like, what do you want to do? You want to climb mountains? I know a guy. You want to race cars? I know a guy. You want to go for hikes? We know guys. What do you want to do?
Well, that's part of the reason why I keep, guys like you and Zach and, plenty of other people. There's a guy, Galen, here, who's like a networking god. We call him, I'm trying to get everybody else here to start calling him the Godfather, because he's like the Godfather of veterans here. He's great. And then I got, all kinds of veteran leaders all across the country. And here in Minnesota, it's like, I want to keep you guys close, because what if I have a veteran that I might not be able to help, but he's really in the Airsoft? I'm going to send him directly to you. Be like, I'll pay for you to go fucking play with this guy. Because in the long run, veteran service providers need to serve veterans in the best way that they can, not just how they want their organization to benefit, because that's not what we're here for.
I've interacted with some pretty big names so far in the last 2 or 3 years in the veteran service organization, and it's bullshit is what it is. I mean, like, I won't even sugarcoat it. When we take in, not even a fraction of what you're paying your coordinators, and then you want to put all the blame on this, or you want to put all of the focus on the small guy, and then oh, but we're offering this to our veterans, and it's like, okay, well, it costs money to get this done. Like, let's share the bottom line. And it's like, oh, we can't do that. We don't have budgets for it. And it's like, you took in $60 million last year. What do you mean it's not in the budget? You're telling me that it's not in the budget to spend $1,500 to take 12 vets for a 3-day event where everything is paid for? Get out of town, dude. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to get any kind of grants from the VA? They practically laugh in your fucking face.
Yeah, no, we haven't. If you're a grant writer and you're watching this and you're like, hey, I want to help VFA, like, hit me up, man. Because
hey, same here, man.
if you ask me right now to write my my review, I could do that. But if you ask me to write a grant letter, no,
man,
I'm not that guy.
I've applied for like 6 grants, dude, and no response ever. So
yeah,
I got some people that offered to help and everything. It's just it just didn't go through. Plus, the COVID stopped so many grants this year. So I was going to apply for quite a few grants. I can't remember what the names were, but almost every one of them got denied this year just because of COVID, and they weren't taking in money. But then you got organizations that are still taking in like millions and millions of dollars. And then you get a bunch of the little guys that are fighting for scraps who are barely pushing, $30,000-$40,000.
Yep.
The good thing is
we didn't stop during COVID. Like last year, it was over 15 events that we went to. You may not like what we do, but there's a mission, and there's guys that need to get up off the couch. And if we're willing to sacrifice this, the exchange of a flu virus, so on and so forth. I know a lot of people have mixed emotions, but what you're giving thousands of your hard-earned dollars to an organization that hasn't done anything in the last 18 months, and we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, putting it out there, and it's like, oh, dude, it's rough everywhere.
We slowed down. So like March, everything started to close down. So I was like, you know what, we'll cancel all events for March and April, and then we'll see what happens, right? So we did cancel. We were supposed to do the documentary last year, but we're partnered up with We Defy Foundation. They're a veteran nonprofit that they pay for veterans to train jiu-jitsu for a full year if you're 80% or more disabled. So if you guys don't know who We Defy is, go check them out. But I'm partnered with We Defy, and I was talking to the VP, and he's like, listen, man, it probably wouldn't look good if you actually went traveling the country, during the pandemic, with all this shit going on. I'm like, yeah, it would probably actually make the name look bad. So I was like, you know what, I'll cancel it. But then May came around. I'm like, man, fuck this. I was like, I got veterans that are struggling. I got veterans that need they need person-to-person contact.
Yeah.
I don't believe in this shit. Like, sure, there's a virus and everything like that. Yes, I'm not saying COVID doesn't exist. So please don't quote me on that. It's not what I was saying. But what I am saying is we can't fucking live in a bubble.
Free choice.
Exactly. I will always be for free choice. So if I have a group of veterans that want to hang out and don't want to wear masks, I'm going to go. And I've had people message me throughout, the last year and a half, like, how dare you endanger people's lives? It's like, you know what? Every one of these veterans signed the dotted line that would say that, listen, they would give up to their life for this country. If they want to go climb a fucking mountain together, we're going to go climb a mountain, right? If you got a problem with that, I apologize for you getting upset, but I'm not going to apologize for doing what is going to help veterans in the long run. I was like, I don't care what your opinion is on that.
Well,
I care more about my veterans than I do about the COVID thing. So
that opinion was written in the car outside the Walmart that she just came out. You're like, oh, you go grocery shopping, right?
Exactly.
Dude, are you keeping track of how many people you've cross-contaminated with?
Well,
we got 12 guys. We're gonna go play, shoot 'em up games in the woods.
What did you hear about the guys? There was 2 guys that actually they hiked the entire Appalachian Trail during COVID, right? And people were destroying them. I was like, what better quarantine than in the middle of the Appalachian Trail?
Seems like a great time to get outside.
I was like, it sounds pretty fucking secluded to me.
Yeah,
so
I think that person was just jealous that they were an essential worker.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right? So, like, and the hard thing is, you get so many of these guys who lost jobs, and that's been my hardest struggle recently is, I'm trying to figure out how I can get veterans more jobs. And so I'm actually to the point where I'm literally starting a company so I can start hiring veterans because I mean, yeah, I want to make money. You know, that my biggest issue right now with Warriors Next Adventure is I don't have the funding to do what I want to do. So I'm literally creating Michael said, yeah, it's extreme social distancing.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of creating a company that I'm going to release fairly soon here that I'm hoping to eventually be nationwide. You know, it's a trade job. I won't actually be doing it. I'm just running it. But my goal is by the end of next year to at least employ 5 veterans if I can. I'm not going to go fucking bankrupt trying to help trying to employ veterans, but I'm going to make sure I can actually do what I can do. If I'm going to hire somebody and I have a choice, I'm going to hire a veteran because that's who I serve, right? But eventually I want to be in every single major city so I can have 1 or 2 people working in every single major city around the United States in the next like 10 years. So if that's the case, you know, I will be making substantially more money than what I was now. And I literally could self-fund this nonprofit. So that's my goal in the next 10 years is to actually create a business that eventually grows big enough to where I'm making enough money to where I can feed my family and I can literally donate thousands of dollars to Warriors Next Adventure so I can make sure I can take veterans climbing mountains and start that retreat and doing whatever I can to help. My long-term goal, have you seen the bus yet?
Yeah.
That piece of shit. So we're
What
converting
an
that
amazing trip you had, my friend.
dude, that was a rough couple of days, man.
I know. I was tracking. I was like, oh,
Dude, it was funny. Like when I broke down in Montgomery, Alabama, you know, it wouldn't have been that bad. But I didn't have anything on me. So the lady I bought the bus from gave me like, you know, those like old like quilted blankets. She gave me one of those just in case you break down. I was like, I'll be fine, but I'll take it.
smell like mothballs.
I'm so happy I took that blanket because the bus is a bunch of holes in the bottom of the floor, and it started raining that night, so all that cold air was shooting up into those holes, and that bus was freezing. And then I blew the tires in Wisconsin. It was a rough couple days, man. But the good thing is it was all shit that happened that we were gonna have to replace anyway. So the alternate or the belt, you know, was old as shit. The tires were like 16 years old. So it's like, you know what, all the stuff that happened on the trip, it was all stuff we're gonna replace anyway. So the bus itself runs great. But once I get that thing to the point where it's livable, so we're gonna have a bunk bed in the back, a bed on the side, and then we're gonna have like a table that converts into a bed as well. So we'll be able to sleep 4 veterans inside that thing. My ultimate goal is to literally have this job fully fund me that way I don't have to be there. The business is working. I don't have to be there, and I can do whatever I want to do with the nonprofit. So I can create a veteran crisis response team. Like, how many times have you heard from a veteran like that's just losing his shit and just needs somebody to grab him and pull him out of the reality for a couple days? I could tell you 5 veterans right now that I can think of that literally, if I just went and kidnapped them for 5 days, it could change their life.
Yeah.
You know, take them mountain climbing, training jiu-jitsu, do something.
A lot of those guys, we'll find them in the airsoft community. They find their way to us because, like, every 6 weeks you can kind of decompress. So every 6 weeks you got something to look forward to.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, that's good, man. I mean, that's part of the reason why I want to do this podcast with you, man, is because like I see what you guys are doing, and it looks fun as shit. I really want to get out there, but I see the camaraderie aspect. And I absolutely love it. And I will support any nonprofit or any business that's doing what you guys are doing. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
That's it. Just having fun. And if you know, if you're a vet and you're listening to this and you're like, you know, Jason Gallegos, hit our website up. It's right there at the bottom. Hit the enlist tab, join, and I'll reach out to you personally, and we'll see where you're living and what the closest event is, and we'll get it lined up. And we make every attempt so you don't have to say no. So you have to take care of your old lady and get the time off, but we'll take it from there. And if the old lady is a serious pain in the ass, my old lady will step in and be the ombudsman. And, you know, we'll find one of those family-friendly affairs. You know, our charity game this year, that's one thing that we're doing is we're bringing in a bounce house. And we're going to have kids' activities. We're going to have somebody to take the kids around and have some fun while the adults are out shooting each other in the face with BBs. It's so much fun.
What do you guys do for food out there? You guys?
I cook. I cook usually everything. Veterans Q barbecue sauce. They sponsor us.
Nice.
So we're always like grilling food with their products on it, and it's basic just backyard grilling inside camp. Some events that we go to, we'll break out MREs or Mountain House meals with the jet boils. But we're usually, A-framing tarps up at those events. Centurion are those events, and those we get. It's like a field training exercise. You're in field for 3 days. Those are really fun. So.
Well, let me know when your next event is, man, and I'll sponsor the food. So however much it costs, let me know.
Awesome.
Next adventure, I'll take the bill for it.
Yeah, we're going down to Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is really, really big in the Civil War heritage down there. We're taking over a hospital complex, so I've got there's 4 of us going to that. So, dude, that'd be awesome. The pizza
They're
Friday
giving
night.
you a whole hospital complex to play in?
Yes. So Third Coast gets this hospital, and it's in a neighborhood. So
That's awesome.
there's like people driving as you're like standing there on the other side of this fence, fully kitted up.
No.
Yeah, the hospital. It's
That's
this is the 5th time, and it's haunted as shit.
Is it really?
Yeah, dude. And
fuck that.
dude, now I can't go anywhere without trying to figure out how to take the compound down. Like I'll go to like random places and I'll be like, I wonder where the exits are. I wonder how many guys I hit the front door with.
That's awesome. All right, dude. I got to get rolling here, but thanks again for what you're doing. Let me know what the cost of food is for the next event, man, and I'll cut you a check so you guys can feed everyone on Warriors Next Adventure.
Dude, Nick, appreciate you so much. Thank you for what you do.
No problem,
check out Warriors Next Adventure for everybody that's on my side listening up.
Let's see. I'm glad you listened, Randy. And that's all I want with these podcasts, man, is I want people to get something out of it. And I knew that you would help provide a lot of insight, a lot of this stuff. So thanks, man. I'm gonna drop you off. Can you stay on the chat for a minute? And I'll drop you off when okay, stay here. Don't go anywhere. Thank you guys for listening to Warriors Next Adventure podcast, Veterans for Airsoft. Go check those guys out. Freddy's a good dude. I've been following him for a while now. I just have not been able to make any of his events. So go check them out. Donate if you can. Buy some. They got a bunch of those sweet patches. They'll be having some challenge coins here soon. So if you guys can support Veterans for Airsoft, that would be huge. I'm getting a video spun up here for you guys. So again, check out TCal Knives. TCal Knives, you can go to tcalknives.com and type in promo code Warrior, and what you'll get is 10% off, and he donates that 10% to Warriors Next Adventure. Also, go check out Buffalo Custom Engraving. They make some water bottles and tumblers. Those things are awesome. And then also check out Northern Concept Designs. They're making some koozies for us. So those will be coming out fairly soon, and you'll be able to check them out. So what I want you guys to see is I'm going to play the trailer for the PTSD versus Jiu-Jitsu documentary. We're filming that April through June. We're traveling to 35 different jiu-jitsu gyms. If you go to warriorsnextadventure.com and you click on the PTSD versus Jiu-Jitsu, you can see every single stop that we're going to. So now this video that I'm playing is actually going to be it's the trailer for the documentary. Made this about a year ago. We might change it. I'm not sure, but I'm going to play it for you guys here now. So I didn't do it right. Damn it. Stand by. So again, like I said, if you guys want to come to any of these events are free. So all you have to do is just show up. Even if you're not a veteran, if you're a civilian, please come check it out. Because like I always say, I'm trying to get people to understand that, we can be friends with everybody. You don't have to just be friends with somebody just because they're a veteran. You can be friends with, plenty of, non-veterans as well. So here you go, guys. We're constantly growing, and jiu-jitsu just, God damn it, does it not apply to your whole life? One of the things that I tell people all the time is, one of my key things that I tell veterans that I'm trying to get to train jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu really, it teaches you that there's a solution to every single problem. Every submission, there's an escape, and sometimes there's a point where you got to tap, and that goes to, your mental health. You know, you can take so much, but sometimes you got to fucking tap. You got to ask your instructor for help. You know, go see a psychiatrist, go see a doctor, go see somebody, talk to me. You know, there's so many people out there that you can reach out to. But like I said, the correlation between jiu-jitsu and everyday life is there is a solution to every single problem. You know, there's an escape, there's a sweep, or something.
We're not out here fighting for our life, and that I think is the confusion that sometimes whether they're doing jiu-jitsu or they're trying to struggle with their life and they don't want to tap, they don't want to ask for that help. And at the end of the day, you know, the majority of the time we get to. So why wouldn't you?
All right, guys. So there it is. Again, check out the PTSD versus Jiu-Jitsu. If you just Google it, you'll pull up the fundraiser, you'll pull up the video, and you'll pull up the website. So go check that out. Also, right now, at this moment, if you guys are interested in climbing a mountain with Warriors Next Adventure, you have a chance to do it completely for free. That's airline tickets and stay. You got to bring some money for food. So what you got to do is go to Warriors Next Adventure Facebook. Look at the last few posts. I just put a lottery up there. So all you have to do, if you are a veteran and you want to climb a mountain with Warriors Next Adventure, what you need to do is start a Facebook fundraiser for Warriors Next Adventure. The first 4 people to raise $1,000 get to go on an all expenses paid trip. I shouldn't say all expenses. You gotta pay for your food. And we are doing substance free. So we're going to try our best to make sure it's no alcohol, no marijuana, nothing like that. Even though Colorado's illegal, I would prefer to have the weekend substance free. Somebody brought it up to me, and it actually was a good point. You know, what if there's a veteran who is struggling with alcoholism? They come on a trip like this and they relapse, and it's Warriors Next Adventure's fault. I now have become an enabler. So what I want to do is I want to try to stay away from substance for the most part. So all you have to do is make a Facebook fundraiser, be the first of 4 to raise $1,000, right? So the first 4 people that raise 1,000 get to go for free. We pay for your plane ticket. We pay for the Airbnb. We'll pick you up from the airport. We're going to be going to this place called Mattersville, which is actually a wolf sanctuary and also a homeless veterans facility. We're going to be training jiu-jitsu twice at Zenith and Team Chaotic Combat Sports, and then we're climbing Mount Massive. Mount Massive is the second highest mountain in Colorado. We climbed Mount Elbert last year. So it's about an 8-9 hour hike. It's going to be rough, so you need to be in good shape. So go make your Facebook fundraiser. Now, if you make a Facebook fundraiser and you're one of the first 4 to raise $1,000, but you don't want to go, you can pick and choose any veteran that you want to go on this trip as long as they want to go. So now there's always a chance for the 5th person, right? So the 5th person, every $200 increment that you raise is an entry into the lottery. So say you raise $200 and the first 4 people make their 1,000 and they get to go on the trip for free. We get one more person that we're picking on March 1st, right? So all the announcements will be on March 1st. March 1st, what we'll do is we'll go through and look through all of the entries. And what we'll do is we'll pick one out of a hat and you have a chance to go. So if you only raise $200, you have a chance to go on an all expenses paid trip to Colorado with me and 6 other veterans. We're going to have quite a few other people that are already there that are in Colorado. They're going to meet us there. So please, guys, check it out. Make that fundraiser, raise that $1,000, come on a trip with us. I swear to you, it's going to be life-changing. So we will talk soon, guys. I love you all. Peace.